Jude Dobson is a much-loved Kiwi who we have seen on our TV screens over many years. But it's also the work she's done behind the screen that has earned her a nod in the King's Birthday Honours. She is being made an Officer of the New Zealand Order of Merit for her work in the community, broadcasting and historical preservation. And she's here with me now. Hey Jude, can I call you Officer Jude?
I don't know if you'd like to.
Yeah, Officer Jude. Now, you've had an amazing career in broadcasting. You've been behind the camera, in front of the camera, but we've got these books in front of you because you're also a global best-selling author who's worked with a spy. How cool is that?
It's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm pretty humbled, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not my story. I've just been the librarian, really. I have actually just taken somebody else's story and done the right thing by her and got her a publishing deal and put the book together, albeit I did do quite a bit of research along the way. Yeah.
You did quite a lot. Now, let's talk about Pippa Latour. So, very quickly, for people who don't know about her, she was a World War II spy.
There are only 39 women in Nazi-occupied France, and she was one of them, and the odds were pretty rubbish, really. 13 of them didn't survive that, and especially as a wireless operator like she was, the chances of her coming back were 50%. Most of them were dead in 6 weeks. So, and she was there at a very particular time in the war, a month before D-Day, and by then the Germans were pretty good with their direction-finding equipment, and they could find them in 30 minutes. So, yeah, she was an amazing woman, and I got to meet her when she was over 100, and decided that she would quite like to do the last act of service and record her story.
Incredible. And how did you find her, and how did you come into this whole world of military history?
Well, I was married to a military man. Well, I'm still married, but he's no longer in the military. Same husband, different job these days. My dad was in the Territorial Air Force, so I have an affinity with the NZDF. They do good work, and I was doing researching a doco in 2019 or 2020 called New Zealand's Air Force Then and Now, and I was following a wings course to see where these young people went. And as part of that, I was interested in the On the Shoulders of Giants concept. So I was already looking for those people. Found the Lank pilot, the Spitfire pilot, the Corsair guy. And as part of that, I was introduced to Pippa, who would never be in a doco. She would never do anything like this. But I just stayed in contact with her, and when she finally said that she would like to pop her story together, I said, let me see if I can help you find a publisher. I don't know anything about publishing, but I found one. They gave her a publishing deal, and then I thought that was the end of that, but then Pippa wanted me to write it. So I said, you better check with the publisher, they might need a writer. So then I learned to write a book, yeah.
And what should New Zealanders who haven't read the book know about Pippa Latour?
Oh, they should know that these people of that generation, particularly women like her, volunteered. They volunteered for this job because the world was not in a great state. She risked her life for what we have today. And, our world's also a little bit precarious now. So resilience and self-reliance are quite good traits to have as an individual and as a collective.
Yeah, and you've spent a lot of time looking at our military history. You've done all sorts of work preserving it, so what lessons are there in that for New Zealanders, young and old, of today, in terms of, if you had one thing to share with us about what our military history can tell us about today, what would it be, Jude? Well,
I would say that if you look at what a New Zealander is, a lot of that comes actually way back from our Anzac spirit in World War I. I mean, in World War I, we were the epitome, really, on the Western Front. So that Anzac spirit of being humble, getting out there, doing the job, and for your mates, was evident then and is evident today in people. And you think of Ed Hillary, think of all these great New Zealanders. It's just that she was hidden away, really.
And why was she hidden from us, like all the other heroes?
She didn't want to talk. And as I've found, I've interviewed quite a few older folk for that doco. It's taken me about 3 years to archive them for the Air Force Museum. But why would you want to remember a lot of that? A lot of it's really traumatic. I mean, I'm sure she had PTSD in some form. She often had nightmares still about that. So I think sometimes towards the very end of your life, and if someone you don't know who's not your family can come and have a chat to you that you trust, and I'm on their side, all I'm trying to do is unpack something for their family, really. A lot of the World War II vets, the families would say, "Oh, Dad, you never told me that." But maybe I'm a safe pair of hands because I'm not family. Yeah, I remember interviewing Max, the Spitfire pilot in Hawke's Bay, and his son was there out from England. He said, "Dad, that was lovely. I didn't know about that." And he trotted off to the back room and pulled some, piece of parachute silk out, and yeah.
Yeah, and do you think she is a hidden hero?
Pippa, yeah, not now.
But she was until this.
Yeah, she was. She just decided not to talk.
Yeah,
she just said it's not anyone's business. It was my war. And she didn't want to be here when the book came out, and she wasn't. Yeah,
which is amazing.
Yeah, 102. So she was running out of runway when she started talking to me.
Yeah, and do you think it's important that she is no longer hidden as a hero?
Absolutely, absolutely important. We should know about people like her.
Yeah, we should, shouldn't we? Because we're here. Part of the reason is you got this, New Zealand Order of Merit kind of thing going on, and it's recognition. But she didn't have anything like that.
Oh no, she did. She had lots of medals. She had them posted to her because she didn't even want to go and get them, so they got posted to her in Africa. And then finally, when her sons found out about her when she was in her 80s, because she even kept this from her family, they said, "Oh, Mum, you should probably go and get those other medals that we're owing to you." And the French ambassador actually gave her medal here in New Zealand, and she came out of hiding for that. And Willie Appiata came with her to get that award from the French ambassador.
Yeah, incredible story. And coming to this, everyone's gone through an evolution. I'm going through an evolution at the moment. And
that's media.
Yeah, that's right. But you were on Sale of the Century. I was happen across it on YouTube the other day.
Why did you do that?
It was incredible, but that's part of the reason that you've got this honour is your career in entertainment. What was it like back in the day being such a big star on Sale of the Century?
You were probably in nappies. You probably weren't even
I was
around.
out in nappies. Thank you, though.
That's all right. So, yeah, it's a funny thing, isn't it? In 1989, there were only 2 channels, and they're both free-to-air and no other media on a screen. So, yeah, that was a bit of a quick ticket to fame, 5 nights a week. It was pretty horrendous for the registered nurse who, was a bedpan and injections, caring for someone one-on-one, to be on a screen to lots of people. I did try to go back to nursing, actually, to get a little bit of sanity, but that didn't work because people would say, they'd ring the bell and then introduce me to the visitors. I went, no, I've earned those epaulets. I'm really here to do a job, so that didn't last too long.
Right.
No, it's all right. You get used to it. And I've always just been myself and lived my life. And I'm never the sort that goes to the opening of an envelope. My family's most important to me, so I just got on with my life.
Yeah,
and just did things in my corner of the world that I could help with. Got on the school boards, right? If I could help wherever I would, I could.
Yeah, and are you ever recognised these days from Sale of the Century days?
Sometimes, yeah. It depends how. I can usually tell by how old the person is talking to me, whether they say 5:30 with Jude or Sale of the Century. Yeah.
Yeah, well, 5:30 with Jude was massive as well, of course. Yeah,
or Open Home, sometimes I get that.
Yeah. And what lessons from this diverse life that you've had from Sale of the Century to unveiling really one of our hidden heroes of this country, if there was something, Jude, that you could share with other New Zealanders, what would it be?
In a work sense?
Yeah, or just in a life sense.
In a life sense. I've said this for years, actually, to our kids, and I also have to take the same advice that the only constant in life is change. And if you don't get on board with that, that can be quite challenging. And change is challenging. I mean, the only thing that doesn't like, well, who doesn't? Nobody really likes change. Let's be honest. So you've just got to think about where you want to be and what's important to you. I've just done things that I've found important to me and made work in and around them. Really. That's been my thing. So if you can find something that you're interested in and make some work around it and just, I'm going to say, ride the wave. I've never felt I've ridden a wave. I've just sort of swum madly and just done what I can.
Yeah.
And find kindred spirits. I don't know everything. I've just had to find people that know things I don't and partner up.
Yeah. And do you think part of your honour, goes to Pippa Latour as well? Is it sort of...
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I like to think this is for people I've helped along the way. My core driver as a nurse was always to help people, and I think that's the thing I most enjoy doing is particularly with that older age group, to help them. And also I've done a lot of work with parenting and child development. There's about 100 little videos called it's called Raising Children. It's a New Zealand website, and I did that with got some money out of government years ago, which is quite hard to get all them around a table, and worked with Plunkett and tried to pull that together. Self-funded a lot of that along the way. So yeah, I've always I guess I'm looking at the vulnerable ends of the life spectrum. The rest of us in the middle just have to muddle along.
And this is now published in the UK and the US. One of those, which one's the US book?
Yeah, that's the one. It just came out a couple of weeks ago in the US.
Yeah, and then that one is a sort of a British-looking one.
That's very British, isn't it? It looks like a Time cover.
You must be so proud to see it going around the world.
It's lovely. So, because these royalties go to Pippa's estate, they don't come my way. I'm a one-and-done writer. But what I'd love to do, Paddy, is, because I love film. I've never done film. I've done telly. Well, I like screen. I like that sort of storytelling. So I have signed an agreement with Global Gate, and they're looking at trying to find film production partners. I'd love to be able to make that film with proper film people.
Yeah, it could be global. It's an extraordinary story of an extraordinary woman.
Yeah, and probably the world needs it now more than ever, that woman's story.
Yeah, and why is that, do you think? Just because it just shows resilience?
Yeah, well, I think the world's in a bit of a funny state, isn't it? Pick what your morals are, pick what you want going forward for your society and collectively. We've all got power, haven't we? We just have to coalesce.
Yeah, very inspiring. Yeah, and you're very inspiring as well.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in, Jude Dobson.
Oh, thank you for talking to me.
Yeah, I know, it's awesome.